I always thought Cedar Fair did a relatively good job operating its 11 theme parks and making the decisions that they made. But like any other company, the former one did have its faults, and here are, in my opinion, the 10 biggest mistakes that Cedar Fair ever made. Number 10. Not giving Carowinds a water ride. Rip-Roaring Rapids was Carowinds' only water ride that guests could enjoy in the dry park. And in 2018, Cedar Fair made the decision to close the ride down after the season. And I often wonder what exactly was the plan for this plot of land or the ride itself, because COVID came in and messed up the park's future plans. Fast forward to 2024, and Carowinds, a park just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, has brutally hot and humid summers, but yet still no water ride. Until 2025, when Carowinds opens up a new mock interactive boat ride as part of the Camp Snoopy expansion. The decision to close Rip-Roaring Rapids will forever be a head-scratcher, especially because Cedar Fair decided to remove the 4 water rides that Carowinds offered when they bought the park within a 10-year span. Number 9. Not investing in a large coaster for Dorney Park sooner. If you've never been to Dorney Park, then you're really missing out. This awesome park is located in a prime area that is only growing, and with the success of Iron Menace, their new for 2024 B&M dive coaster, it shows that Dorney Park could have used a new coaster sooner than this year. In fact, it's been 19 years since Dorney Park opened up its last new but not relocated coaster. That is when Hydra the Revenge opened up in 2005. So with Iron Menace, I predict that Dorney Park will add their next coaster by 2030. Number 8. Selling the land that CGA sits on. I understand why Cedar Fair did this, but I still feel like it was a mistake, especially because California's Great America is a better park over Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. While it is unfortunate, I am still hopeful that the new Six Flags will find a way to keep the park open for decades to come. I also think Cedar Fair should have spent the money and call up RMC to work their magic on the world's most boring and worst wooden coaster ever created, the Grizzly. Number 7. Removing Thunder Road. When Carowinds gave us their reasoning as to why they were going to be removing their racing wooden coaster, most of us knew it was ridiculous. They wanted to expand and rebrand their water park into Carolina Harbor, which is great, but they did not want the sound of the wooden coaster to be heard while you're at the water park, and they did not want park guests to walk underneath the coaster's supports. Well, thousands of people walk under the racer at Kings Island every single day, and that is the same style of ride as Thunder Road was. And better yet, Kings Dominion's Racer 75 runs right down the middle of their Soak City water park. Carowinds could have easily expanded Carolina Harbor while keeping the park's classic racing coaster. Instead, we're left with a pile of firewood hurler to enjoy. Now speaking of hurler, I'm not including it on this list simply because too many people still ride it when they visit Carowinds. Now do I want them to RMC it? Heck yeah, but they sadly will not until ridership dips down and hurler becomes extremely unpopular. Number 6. Not building the Hyper or Giga for Knott's. About 3 years ago, leaked blueprints surfaced about Knott's Berry Farm building the longest, fastest, and tallest full-circuit roller coaster on the West Coast. While we still have a few deniers out there who think these blueprints were not real, if you take a close look at the level of detail on them, it's almost certain that they were real. A Giga coaster or even a hyper coaster for Knott's Berry Farm would have been exactly what the park needed. A high capacity, reliable coaster, and one that the park can market as the largest on the West Coast. While I do still think that Knott's Berry Farm could build a hyper in the future, now that Six Flags and Cedar Fair merged, I think the Giga project makes more sense for Six Flags Magic Mountain. Number 5. Alpenferry capacity concerns. Canada's Wonderland might be building the wildest and best coaster that's going to open up in 2025. Alpenferry looks wicked and awesome. Riders are going to experience 9 inversions, 2 launches, and some insane looking twisted elements. But there's one problem: capacity. What the heck, Cedar Fair? What are you thinking? You're only going to offer 2 trains that hold 18 riders per train? Now this would be acceptable at a mid-tier park in the chain, but not at their busiest regional theme park. And for those of you who do not know, more people visit Canada's Wonderland every year than Cedar Point. I am not a fan of this move, and there's no reason why Alpenfury does not offer 3 train operations. But I do love how Canada's Wonderland is having this coaster blast out of the mountain, which brings me to number 4, removing Volcano the Blast Coaster. 2018 was a very bad year for Volcano. King's Dominion's unique Intamin suspended catapult coaster was barely opened that year. Opening in 1998, this 155-foot tall coaster was just insane. The mystery that surrounded the coaster as you walked up to it was unmatched, because all you saw from inside the park was a train shooting out of the top of the volcano and the flames that shot out as the train entered the ride's first of 4 inversions. The launches on Volcano still to this day were one of my favorite launches ever. I really feel like, given just how unique Volcano the Blast Coaster was and how it incorporated the iconic mountain, Cedar Fair really should have found a way to keep Volcano open because it was a fantastic coaster. Are you looking for some new coaster merch to wear in the parks? If so, then you want to check out KeepRidingCoasters.com, where you're going to find comfortable and affordable coaster merch designed by myself. I really do appreciate all the support. Again, check out KeepRidingCoasters.com. Number 3, Orion's short layout. In 2012, we saw Canada's Wonderland open up B&M's first ever Giga coaster, Leviathan. 3 years later, Carowinds opened Fury 325, which is the longest steel coaster that you're going to find here in North America. Rumors swirled around Kings Island in the summer of 2019 that the park was going to add a Giga coaster to its lineup. And then, shortly after, Kings Island announced Orion, a coaster with a lift-hill height of 287 feet and a drop of 300 feet. And while you cannot deny that Orion is a great ride, I want to challenge you to take a look at the woods the next time you're riding the ride and just use your imagination as to just how special Kings Island could have made their Giga coaster. We now know that Orion's layout originated from the rumored hypercoaster for California's Great America, but I just wish that Cedar Fair had spent a little bit more time having the layout travel down into the woods for part of the ride, really using the terrain for the ride's advantage, much like the park has done for many of their other great coasters. Number 2, of course, is Top Thrill 2, and you knew it had to be on this list. There's no way it couldn't have been. And with the coaster being closed all but 6 days of their 2024 season, Top Thrill 2 has a lot more issues than just the trains. Everything about this coaster has had issues. The launch fins, the trains, the original track, the supports on the top hat, heck, even the lack of lockers has been an issue for Top Thrill 2. Top Thrill 2 will go down as one of the most disappointed openings for any new coaster, and when it opened, I raved about how great Zamperla did with Top Thrill 2. But the key to building any type of coaster is making it safe and reliable, and Zamperla has failed at that because something bad was going to happen on Top Thrill 2 if they didn't close it. And now for the number 1 mistake that Cedar Fair has made in my opinion, not working out the relationship with RMC and Intamin. Cedar Fair has not worked with Intamin on a new ride since 2010. Cedar Fair has also not worked with RMC since hiring them to design 3 new coasters for the parks in 2018. I know that Cedar Point Shoot the Rapids had major issues. I also know that Intimidator 305 was a little bit more intense than Cedar Fair wanted. But still, with Intamin really working out all their issues, their newer coasters are running much better. Cedar Fair needed Intamin more than Intamin needed Cedar Fair, in my opinion. And I still do think that we will see new Intamin coasters open up at the legacy Cedar Fair parks in the future. As for RMC, well, I really hope that one day soon we will see some new RMCs open up at the various legacy Cedar Fair parks, as well as the original Six Flags parks. If you want to know more of my predictions for each of the 26 now Six Flags theme parks, then be sure to check out this video at the bottom of your screen where I share with you the next coaster that I think each park will add next. So is there any bad decision that Cedar Fair has made that you think should have been on this top 10? Be sure to let me know in the comments, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, and keep riding coasters.